any more effort, you might actually become a DJ. That's not nice. I like DJs. I don't think they just hit the space bar.
I'm going to use that as a cold open.
Don't
just to
you
get you
dare,
some hate.
because then the one thing Millennium will ever hear from me personally will be this podcast. And,
And
be like,
that
that guy's a dick. I never want to meet him.
Wow, that guy hates DJs.
And I'll be like,
Fuck
oh,
yeah.
Millennium, no.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Brotherhood Without Manners, a full spoiler reread podcast where during these episodes we are watching a TV show.
Yay.
What a fucking show.
What a show.
A show. We have 2 episodes left.
Only 2.
One of which is happening in just a few short minutes.
Very short.
So, we're going to give a quick rundown of last week. We're going to talk a little bit about some emails, and then we're going to go and watch the show.
And by rundown, we mean very little rundown. There's been a lot of hate about The Last of the Starks. I'm choosing to just stick with what I liked about it instead of what I didn't.
Well, that's it. We're sitting on the side of the fence where, yeah, there is shit that we could sit there and nitpick and pull apart and complain about, but
there's 2 episodes left.
I want to enjoy the fucking show.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying it and loving every part of it. So.
Yeah, I'm not going to focus on the things that I don't like over the amazing things I'm getting that I do. So
yeah,
I don't see the point in it. But
so last episode, we laid some people to rest. We got some sweet send-offs, some goodbyes. Everybody's hating on the John Ghost thing, but as I've mentioned, I've decided that they said their goodbyes the night before, and they were just too tore up to have another goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, again, the direwolves were never really what they were in the show, in the books. Yeah. So, I never really felt, as soon as I killed Summer for Bran, I was kind of like, oh, okay, these direwolves aren't that
sticking
important.
around.
Yeah, so I kind of made my peace with that. It sucks, I agree, but
then we lost a second dragon. Rhaegal went down, which, if you weren't really expecting that to happen before the penultimate episode, then, you probably weren't thinking things clearly. They needed to find a way to even the odds a bit. A couple dragons just burning down King's Landing makes it easy mode. So, Yeah, and the episode pretty much wraps up where we got the key players in the south. John's still on his way. Arya and the Hound were heading south. We got that dynamic duo back together. And Miss Endai's head went way south.
Yeah.
From up above the wall down.
So this episode looks like it's either the burning of or the battle of King's Landing. Yeah. So should be a good time. Clegane Bowl is pretty much all but confirmed.
Yeah, so some I can't even call them predictions at this point. Basically, it's this episode or next episode. Clegane Bowl. Arya doing some cool faceless shit, hopefully. She might be part of Clegane Bowl. She might be part of handling some Cersei business. Who knows? We might get all the deaths that people wanted in episode 3 that we didn't. I know a lot of people were disappointed that most people survived that. I think that might be this time
fixed in this episode here coming up.
Yeah, I agree. So we missed them very much last week, but some of the effects of the long night had taken its toll. But the Silent Sisters, the not so Silent Sisters, have gotten back in touch with us after not keeping their namesake and remaining silent for a week.
Which they let us know was because they were divided about this episode. One of them liked it, one of them didn't really at all. And that's okay. Like we said, we're willing to.
Yeah, so they mentioned that
sides.
They are very happy to see the Hound Arya team up.
Yeah.
I could not be more on board.
Agreed.
If any of the pairings in this show would be the most badass bullshit sitcom style comedy show, I would like to see Arya and the Hound.
Yeah.
Just, on their random adventures throughout Westeros. So I'm really excited they're doing some shit together again.
The Cat and the Hound. The Canals and the Hound.
Yeah. I like that.
They also go on to mention that they believe Bronn is the real wild card for this season, and I absolutely agree with that. Bronn had me shook after his scene in Winterfell.
Yeah.
So I do think that he could pop out at any moment and just blah, and shit gets suddenly awful. So I agree with them there. There's been a big theory going around about there might possibly be more dragons, and
yeah, I don't know.
I'm not a sure. I mean, at this point, like I said, I'm kind of along for the ride.
I just don't foresee it happening. I mean,
They
what
haven't
do I
really,
know?
they haven't
But-
really gone terribly in depth about dragon lore and sort of the fact that they don't really have genders, so that males can reproduce. So I think it would confuse
Yeah, I
a
mean,
lot of people
dragons
that
are
Drogon
agender, but
is
yeah.
giving birth. But
Whatever.
if it happens, cool. If not, I'm cool with just Drogon
Yep.
and Danny burning shit up.
Yeah, so we look forward to hearing what they have to say about tonight's episode. But
Indeed.
we also received some correspondence from a Twitter follower at tbrad. He basically was
At
just
tbrad0415.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
got it. So he just was letting us know how much he enjoys the podcast, but then he asked a quick question, which I answered him there, but I think we're going to go way more into detail about this question on our series wrap-up episode that's going to occur after the season finale.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just asked, what storyline would you change to more directly pull from the book? If you could, I'm assuming we're going to limit it to one, if you got to choose one.
Quick fire off the hip, I would say, and I guess it's sort of a cheat, but I would say the Littlefinger Sansa, Elaine storyline from the book.
So he mentioned Euron Greyjoy. I'm way on board with that.
Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
I shotgunned a few different ideas, with Victarion. But again, we'll go way deeper into detail, I think, about that in our series wrap-up. So either way, Todd, thanks for listening. We appreciate you writing in and look forward to it happening again.
Definitely.
With that,
we're going to go watch this goddamn episode.
yeah, man, do you have anyone in particular you want to say who you expect to not make it through tonight?
No, because I'm just worried about Tyrion.
I think
I'm just worried about Tyrion.
I'm on that group that thinks that the Hound is going to win
But
Clegane Bowl, but die,
Ugh.
which is unfortunate.
Ugh.
The other option I think would be kind of cool, and I mentioned it to you earlier, is if Arya gets cut down by the mountain.
Stop it.
I know it's terrible, but she gets cut down by the mountain, and that's what spurs the Hound into this brutal rage of maniacy.
See,
I
don't like that one. That one's horrible and
Yeah.
beautiful and tragic, and I think our lives are about to be the same. So there's going to be a quick, brief intermission, and we will catch you guys after the jump when we become more unsullied about the penultimate episode
See you on the other side.
of Game of Thrones.
We're back, guys.
Hey.
Man, what an episode.
What an episode.
The penultimate episode.
Yeah, loosely, we believe, titled The Bells.
I think that's what we're looking at the moment. Fuck.
Yeah, so overall, how do you feel? You like it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
So, yeah, we'll jump right in. If it is titled The Bells, I'll double check that at some point, but I think it's fitting that it begins with Varys writing his letters and trying to get Jon installed on the throne.
He tried to have, I think that was Varys trying to have Dany poisoned, right? The little girl there, like...
That's what I was thinking,
Okay, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure he was already...
trying to feed her,
trying to finish this off,
and she won't eat. But, yeah, Varys gets executed, brought out. Tyrion straight up tells Daenerys.
He approaches Jon. He tries to sway Jon into becoming king. And Jon's like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah, Jon's
Photo
not
queen.
having it. And Tyrion approaches Daenerys, telling her that, yeah, I told him I'm the guy. And then she basically said that you played right into Sansa's hand. Sansa wanted you to spread these lies. And Dany was looking rough in that Dragonstone where she just shut herself away scene.
Well, like, she's lost her most trusted advisor, Jorah. She lost her best friend, Miss Missandei. And now fucking Varys is trying to kill her, and she knows it.
Yeah, so Varys he's writing a letter, and he burns it, and he puts it in his little pot. And Grey Worm shows up and puts him in irons and takes him down to this rocky beach. And that setting for burning him was intense, because it was just Dany, Jon, Tyrion, and some Unsullied. And... yeah, Tyrion has this nice moment of he admits to him it was me, and
Which
Varys
is
says,
very good.
I hope I'm wrong, and I
He
hope
wasn't wrong.
burning me is the right thing to do. And Varys wasn't wrong.
And that little moment, like, because I up till then, I didn't really care. I was like, good, Varys is gone. That's great, whatever. But then Tyrion put his hand on him.
Yeah.
And it was like, aw, they are friends.
Yeah.
Like, and so Tyrion steps away, and
Drogon materializes
which she
out
said
of the darkness.
that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, she told him.
If you ever betray me, you will burn.
And he did. And
One down.
From there, Tyrion gets told that Jaime was caught trying to sneak past their lines and is now captive, and Tyrion goes and visits him. And this is after Dany tells him that one more failure and you're done. Yeah, you're done, ski.
There won't be another, you won't have a chance for another failure.
And so Tyrion goes and visits Jaime and decides that he's going to free him, and maybe Jaime and Cersei will have a chance to
This
escape.
was the first scene that got me.
Yeah, well, it was at the end when Tyrion is saying goodbye and tells him, you were all I really had, the only
I wouldn't
one.
have survived my childhood.
Yeah,
and then he goes in for the hug and he sobs into his
Yeah,
shoulder.
that was a good scene. And then Tyrion rushes out and Jaime escapes. And then we got to see
Arya and the Hound arrive at King's Landing.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised that
they
it
weren't
didn't
already
just go right into the battle.
Yeah,
there was a lot more.
I was very surprised that I didn't think we were getting a battle, because there was so much beforehand leading up with.
Jon Snow goes to visit Dany after her and Grey Worm have a moment with Missandei's collar.
Yeah.
And Jon comes down to visit her, and she asks, is that all I am to you, is my queen? And then tries to kiss him, which basically is her saying, no, you think of me as your aunt now, which means you're embracing this Targaryen lineage, so what the fuck? And it's a shit show from that point on.
Yeah, it gets wild, because she's like, she tells, kind of gives the nod that she will call off the attack if she hears the bells, because Tyrion's really pushing for that.
He's begging for it, yeah.
And I'm just so mind blown over it.
Yeah,
like,
Tyrion tells Jon the same thing, that if you hear the bells ringing, that's the sound for surrender, so let up. He tells Jaime, try to get the bells to sound, that will be the signal.
Then Tyrion also set up with Davos to have a dinghy so that Jaime and Cersei can escape forever. And that if it works, that's cool. But I didn't really see that actually being a thing. We see Cersei kind of just being fairly confident in what's going on. We see Euron's out with the Grey Fleet, and Dany says, be ready for my signal. Yeah, basically.
And we start getting this intense buildup of like Jaime and the Hound and Arya making their way into the city, and like the gates are closing.
Yeah,
people are starting to get intense,
and
people are panicking now. And then Dany goes fucking ham on the Iron Fleet.
I was surprised that this didn't happen sooner. I had thought that I was expecting it last episode at the last of the Starks after Euron got Rhaegal. I thought she was going to go fucking ballistic, and I mean, Drogon and her handled business. They took out the fucking fleet, they took out the Scorpions, in the way that, was kind of expected from the beginning. If she had done with her 3 dragons, could have handled business.
And then from there, she goes on to start blasting the Scorpions on the battlements.
Right, well, she blows out the fucking wall.
Yeah, and then she comes flying through the main gate, fucks up the Golden Company in one big swoop.
And when that happens, they charge. Yeah. They just fucking
That's the signal.
Go. And, man, Harry Strickland, more screen time than he deserved. And honestly, that was, if I had to make a complaint throughout the whole episode, it was just there was a lot of time. Granted, it was great time because it built the tension and stuff of vacating the city and moving the citizens, closing windows, just shit that we get is gonna happen. But spend more time on the other things. But
so Jon and Davos and Grey Worm are leading this charge into the city, the sacking of the city. Officially, we finally get it. And
Dany starts taking out the troops.
Yeah, she's taking out the troops outside the walls, the troops, the Scorpions left on the battlements until there are none left. She wipes them all out. And Jon and Davos and Grey Worm come up to this intersection, and there's a big contingent of Lannister men. And you can see immediately the doubt on the Lannister men. Like they're looking at the
Oh,
dragon flying
shit.
around. They're looking
And
at
the
the army
dragon
in
is
front of them.
finally landing, and Cersei is up in the keep, and Qyburn is like, just so you know,
Shit's shitty.
the scorpions aren't really doing all. And Cersei's like, well, all it takes is one shot, and he's like, problem is, we got no more scorpions to take.
Yeah,
the
and
shot.
she's like, Euron, he's got him, and the Iron Fleet's gone.
Yeah, he got
So-
blasted off a boat.
So then the Lannister men start laying down their swords, and so Jon takes that as okay, they're surrendering. And then it goes through this montage of people start screaming out, ring the bells,
they're like,
ring the
they're ready,
bells.
like,
they
to
want surrender.
fuck
We're fucking
this,
done with this
surrender.
shit. And I don't know if Cersei gives the call, but eventually they do start to ring.
So I don't think it was the Cersei thing.
I don't
think
either.
it was just the people trying to get to the fucking bells
Yeah.
and start ringing it.
So the
that
bells,
was another time where I was kind of like, all right, everybody clearly wants it. The bells are gonna ring. Let's ring these bells and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know.
And we're getting it from all different viewpoints. Jon Snow is watching intently. Tyrion's watching intently.
Yeah,
even
because the
Dany
Lannister
is-
men threw their swords down. They were ready to be done.
And so yeah, the bells start ringing, and it's this moment of relief until.
Well, see, in this part got me because Dany's face is like all scruffed up. She's pissed. You could tell she's still upset. I was expecting her to go up and now go confront Cersei.
Yeah.
Like, this is it. She's going after Cersei. Nope.
She starts swooping the fucking
She
city
just turns on the fucking city.
and just decimates
she
it.
is pissed because
Demolishes
now
the
she
city.
said in that moment with Jon when she was, is that all I am to you? She says, the people love you. That all I know here in Westeros is fear. And then she tries to kiss him and he backs off and she's like, all right then, fear it is. And so I think that was her intent was, you know what? They need to, if they won't love me, then they have to fear me.
Yeah.
I need to give them a reason to fear me.
Yeah, it was such a holy shit because all of a sudden, the city's getting decimated, and Jon and Tyrion's expressions of just, oh shit. Jon starts holding back the Northmen like this. We're not attacking these men.
Yeah, he's like,
because Grey
"Stop,
Worm
they-"
immediately runs up and stabs one in
Now,
the back.
a couple things that I want to mention about Grey Worm here that
Little bitch ass.
just little things that I'm not thrilled about. He's an Unsullied, and we know more so in the books just because it's way heavily detailed. But even in the show, that they're emotionless. They're trained to not have any issues. He looked away when Missandei died, which I think just goes to show how much they cared about each other.
Sure.
Not that he's supposed to be allowed to care because he is an Unsullied. But for him to feel this vengeful, like, I'm so mad, I'm just going to brutally kill things. I mean, I suppose he is following his queen, his leader, which he's trained to do as she does, but he's...
That's it. I'm taking it more as the Grey Worm is the reflection on Dany's anger.
Yeah.
Like, he's taken his lead from her as soon as she... Because, there's no way about it. Dany just slaughtered innocents. Kids,
tons
women,
of
children.
them, too.
And so as soon as she did that, Grey Worm turned and stabbed the first guard you could see in the back. Just yuck. And Jon immediately starts holding back the Northmen. This is like, we're not doing this. And
we're
Grey
not,
Worm
like,
notices that,
he
and that's
looks
going to
at
be
him,
an
sees him,
issue.
yeah.
Jon turned on Daenerys at the last moment. He refused to fight type thing. And it's just, from this point on, it's fucking chaos.
Yeah.
Like,
We do get the, Qyburn is like, we have to leave.
Maegor's hold
hold
fast.
is way
at that
safer.
point, I thought he might have been Arya and was getting her away
that
and
would've
somewhere
been cool.
secretive.
I didn't think of that.
I was thinking for a second Qyburn was already dead.
So yeah, but then we do see that the Hound and Arya are making their way up,
And it's scary.
and they're in the map room, I think it is, and the fucking place is just coming down because Dany is relentless.
Yeah,
just
she's going nuts on
burning
the city.
everything, and like, I know a lot of people were very against it. I really liked at the beginning in the previously on. They really showed all the different situations where she was warned about that.
This very outcome, yeah.
Man, she's killing it. Like,
Yeah.
It's fucking, like, if she has to go Mad Queen, this is fucking sick.
I mean, as far as spectacle goes, I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Like,
well, that's it.
Am
like,
I happy for the character Dany? No, this is definitely a step back. Just like I think Jaime had a major setback in his arc. Do I think it completely ruined their arc? No, it just didn't. Their arcs aren't going the way I wanted them to and would hope they were. But I mean, that's the whole point of the show, is there's good and bad and what we choose to act on. But we get just these scenes of Dany just wrecking this city, and it's fucking brutal. This fire, I love the fire from the dragons because it blasts shit.
Yeah,
It not only
it just
sets things on fire, but it's like an
knocks
explosion
back,
hitting.
it launches stuff.
And So yeah, Arya and the Hound are in the map room. At this point, Dany has moved her attacking up to the Red Keep itself, and she's collapsing whole fucking towers of it. It's terrifying.
This moment here got me too.
Yeah,
this was another one that was.
They're ready to just charge on, and the Hound is seeing how fucking crazy shit's getting around them. The map room literally is cracking through the floor.
He grabs Arya first by the arm.
And then
by the
fatherly behind the head, listen to me.
You need trust me.
Do you want to end up like me?
Well, that's it. He was like, I know you want revenge. I've lived like that my entire life. This is what you become.
Yeah.
Go. You can live. And she does.
It snaps her right out of that faceless man, and he walks away. He goes up, and she stops him with the Sandor.
And then she, and I think that's the first time that he's ever accepted a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a, go fuck off, cunt.
No, it was
chickens.
I'm proud of you.
You're welcome.
Go live. Go live your life.
That's it. That was the true closer on his arc right there.
Yeah, because she was right there with him, right up to that last second, and had he not said anything, she was going right up those stairs with him, and it would have been a whole different scene with Arya and the Hound at the bottom of those stairs when Cersei, Qyburn, and the Mountain come down. But the Hound didn't want that for her. She would have died there, and he's absolutely right.
And she goes off into fucking badass hero.
So yeah, she takes off. He's right, and he continues on, and this is where we get what everybody has fucking waited for.
Knew was coming. Knew this episode.
And I hopped on the interwebs for the brief second before we recorded this, and people are hating on Clegane Bowl.
I liked it.
I thought the scenery, because we talked about it. where are they gonna fight exactly? And so we get Cersei, the Mountain, and Qyburn coming down the stairs with some of their guard, and the Hound just walks right up to the bottom of the steps and immediately takes care of the 3 guards, no issue. And he looks at the Mountain and
lets him, calls him out.
Let's do this.
We're here.
And
Cersei and Qyburn are like,
call him back. Stay with your queen.
Off.
And he ignores Cersei, and then Qyburn steps forward and says,
listen to your queen.
Listen to your queen.
Perfect. What a great, just fucking slams into a wall, just like Was it the Mountain back in?
Yeah, he slammed just a random card. who was pissing on his boot or something. Yeah, into the wall, just like that. Slams him, throws him,
and launches him down the stairs. I already saw the greatest Humpty Dumpty egghead freaking.
Yeah, I mean, Qyburn was never a huge character to me, and so the fact that it was his creation that killed him.
If it just Frankenstein's monster, it's very cool.
And Cersei, I liked that. After Qyburn's dead, Cersei just sort of let me just get out of your way. I see you boys got business.
You guys got some things to handle.
And so
I'm just gonna walk
by this point, here. This whole hallway has collapsed. The Mountain actually had to shield.
Well, that's
Cersei
right. Yeah, as they were coming down,
him, with his body.
Yeah, and he had some heavy shit dropping on him.
And so it's just open this stairway, and the Mountain and the Hound start going at it with Dany and the city burning in the background, and they go at it.
He knocks his helmet
off, and we get the first clear look at the Mountain.
Yeah, and it looks like it's some kind of a poison-y...
Yeah, he looks very
necrotic,
very arachnid, spidery. It looks like spider venomy.
Yeah, just something growing on there, but
it's a brutal fight, and Arya is just running through the city at this point,
fires
and it's fucking insane.
And so she gets almost kind of attached because she was about trampled, and I don't know.
Well, that was it. They start cutting it between the Hound getting his ass kicked and Arya getting trampled in this crowd and stepped on, and it was so gut punchy where Arya would get a fucking shoe on her back, and it would switch to the Hound getting slammed into the ground or something.
Such a great
this
scene.
Woman with a daughter ends up helping Arya up and gets her up, and they get out of there, and the Hound ends up getting pinned, and he almost got over, and he's just stabbing. And at first, the way he was stabbing him in the shoulder, I thought he was trying to cut off his arm.
Well, because he hit him in the chest with the sword, and then he got thrown down the stairs himself. And
we got that cool shot of the Mountain pulling the sword out, surrounded by the smoke and the fire.
Then his armor came off because of all of it.
Yeah.
That and all the giant rocks fucking collapsing on him. And then we get to see basically the same thing that's on his face with his body, just, wounds,
and
blades.
He gets the Hound up against the wall and has him by the throat, and the Hound's just stabbing him,
right in
the tells him
neck
just fucking die.
And
just fucking die, and the Hound starts laughing. I mean, the actor, Rory, I can't remember, McCain?
Something like that.
Yeah, he fucking killed it.
So he actually, we just read a Sansa chapter that we recorded recently for the other part of our show, of our podcast.
Maybe
here.
you've heard of it.
And and it was the tournament with Sansa, and the Hound escorts her home, and she makes a comment about the mountain, and it says that he roars at her. He was drunk, and that's what I pictured this laugh as. Is just this growling, like it's hard to even know that it's a laugh, but because he's roaring, but it is a laugh, and it's an ironic laugh, but. Yeah, the fucking mountain just picks him up and starts to punch out those eyes.
Yeah,
like
he starts doing like he did with Oberyn. And I was terrified because that was the worst moment of my existence. And the Hound just shrieks and drives the knife through his eye. And for a second, I thought, oh, he killed him. Hit the brain. That's what does it.
But he just
back. He starts pulling the fucking knife out, and the Hound grits his teeth and sees the wall, claps in behind him, and sets his feet and just takes him out. And they both go through the wall, and they tumble down into the fucking fiery...
You think the mountain's dead?
Oh, they're both dead. They're both dead, and I'm okay with it. Like, Clegane Bowl
I did.
The fight was intense.
So. I thought it was great. Yeah,
and the Hound went out by basically saying, "I love you" to Arya. Go be better than me. So, and she does. She's running. She's trying to protect this family. At this point, we get Jaime has been running his way through the city and gets locked out, and so he ends up going to the bottom of the tower where the dinghy is to get to Cersei, and he stumbles up Euron fucking Greyjoy. And they have a fight.
He's running his fucking mouth like Euron does, and just saying, don't you want to add another king to your list, Kingslayer? And that's what Jaime's just like, you're not a fucking king.
But yeah, they have a fight. Jaime gets...
Yeah, I love that he starts the fight off with, well, I fucked the queen. And Jaime just was like, oh, you motherfucker. Yeah.
So they fight. Jaime gets stabbed twice and then manages to throat punch Euron with his golden hand, which was one of the best things I've ever seen.
And then drive a sword.
Through him. And I did like Euron's last line of "I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister."
That was
just because that to me was honestly the most bookish Euron has ever been, with that creepy smile, dying, saying like "I'm the man who's." That just seems like more
at
Euron.
First. I thought that they were going to stick true to show Euron, and I thought that he was just going to say, I'm the man. Which would have been way more of the character that they've shown us so far. Just, I'm the man.
But
fuck you, Euron.
We get a lot more of just Jon is in shock.
And so
Dany just
you're seeing a lot of the Dany's army, the Unsullied,
they're killing children.
It's way beyond even the sack of King's Landing with Tywin.
No, it's brutal.
And so he sees one of the soldiers taking a girl to go fucking rape her, and he stops him and then kills him. And
Jon gives him Jon pins him against the wall, and like he doesn't say anything. He just sits there, but he doesn't stab him. He just sits there, and then the dude starts to struggle and go for his sword, and that's when Jon kills him. Like. Yeah, it just this turn on the drop of the dime. This became one of the most vicious attacks on a city. People
are burning all over the place.
Are getting killed. Yeah, and that's it with Arya. We get her running from it, and like how many times Arya'd be running and just all of a sudden kaboom, boom, fucking rocks hit her.
Yeah, I mean I have to add in that the makeup artist effects, like the people who do that shit. She looked.
I didn't recognize her after that one point where she wakes up and she's covered in all the dust. Yeah.
Just such a well done. And then like the progression as she's running around and sweating and seeing the blood. And so she ends up hiding in the room again and she finds that same mother and daughter again. And she's like, again, fucking badass Arya is just thinking.
Well, she found a purpose here. Like the Hound told her, go and do something that's not revenge, and she sees that. And in this room, it's all women and children.
Well, because so this woman helped her, so that also kind of gives her that. She picked her up off the ground.
Yeah,
she was being
she's a good person. Yeah. That doesn't.
And so she's like, "You guys need to move. You can't stay here. You're gonna die." And they're like, "Oh, but no!" And she's like, "Move now."
Arya picks him up and drags him, and they run, and just you can see it just in that. Like I found myself thinking that I'm like, is Arya just gonna get fucking singed?
Blasted, that's it.
And that's how because I would be irate if Dany's dragon, just in the merciless killing, obviously she's
happened to
not
catch,
aiming for Arya, but
so
because that was a big concern for me. Dany just looked to be willy-nilly, like she wouldn't give a fuck if she was near Dothraki,
well, that's
Unsullied.
Before she even went all crazy and started torching everywhere, I was like, damn, she's getting real close to hitting some of her own forces, and like, it was intense. So Arya's running through the streets with this girl and her mother, and the mother gets hit by a Dothraki screamer.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what was blowing me away,
that
too.
Was scary, too, yeah.
How many... These people don't know Arya from, like... she's just as liable to get cut down as everybody else.
Yeah, the Dothraki coming up behind them, and you just see as they're running, the Dothraki are just swinging and taking people down left and right.
So the mother gets hit, and so she drops down, and then the daughter is trying to pick her up, and Arya sees fucking Drogon coming.
So Arya trying to help get the mother up, but that's not
the mother
working.
can't happen. So the mother's even like, get the daughter, take her. I think that's what she said.
Yeah,
anyway.
take her and go.
And so Arya tries to get her, and the girl gets away and runs back to mom, and Arya's like, "Fuck, I'm gonna die."
Arya dives out of the way. And it looks like she gets covered with flames.
And gets blasted back, like you said.
And so we get back into the Red Keep. Cersei is now standing in the map room.
Panicking.
And
so
she's panicking.
At this point, just real quick, we've gotten the scene of the dragon shadow over King's Landing.
Yeah, we got
from
Bran's
the vision.
Yeah.
Like,
Dany flying over the city and taking out parts of the Red Keep, that was insane to look at and see, just parts of the Red Keep collapsing, towers and fucking rooms that we've known forever, and
just got
seeing Cersei in it as the map room around her is burning and collapsing, and
she's panicking.
Jaime comes in and she loses her fucking shit.
Yeah.
She just breaks and she doesn't know what to do. It's not, it's not going the way she
and then
thinks.
she sees that he's hurt.
Yeah,
and
Jaime's hurt and bleeding, and he's saying, it's just us. Like, let's go. We gotta go and try to get the fuck out of here. So he leads her off out of the map room, and we get Jon back in the shit of it, and Jon is seeing all the same things Arya is, and Jon just starts calling for retreat. Get the fuck out of the city. Because at this point, we get the overhead shot where wildfire starts detonating. The green starts mixing in with the red, and it's
is that wildfire from Jaehaerys, or is that stuff that she's had moved?
I think it. I mean, at this point, doesn't matter. I think it could be. It's either Aerys' pockets or Cersei's pockets. But either way, Dany fucking hit deep enough to catch the. It's not Cersei who pulled the plug on King's Landing and lit the wildfire. It's fucking Dany, and so we get that. Jon immediately calls for a retreat. He wants out. Tyrion's still kind of diddy-bopping around the city at this point, just looking at the horror that
that's
this
unfolding,
wrong
that he
choice
did everything
of the coin.
He thought he could to prevent it.
Yeah, no, he supported her up until the last. Even with the Jon stuff, he still supported her. And so then we get fucking into Arya. We get back to Arya, and it was at this point where...
Well, I think that even this happened after.
Was it after?
Jaime and
Cersei. So, Jaime and Cersei get down to where the dragon skulls are kept.
Yeah, because they were supposed to be using the secret exit through that room down to the dinghy to get out of there.
And they get around the corner, and Jaime sees that their tunnel that they need is completely collapsed, and they're fucked.
And right here, I have to... some of the best acting I've seen from Lena Headey. Like...
From both of them.
Like, I got panicked for her where she's just...
I don't want to die.
I don't want my child to die. I don't want to die.
Not
he's
like this. Not like
this. He's like, you need to look at me. Don't look at anything else.
Yeah.
Nothing else is like.
This is it.
And it's so good because like you're so focused on them, you can see the collapsing behind them, but you're so focused in on that, and like.
So like right up, that is not how I expected Cersei to die. I'm 1,000% okay with it because Cersei wasn't gonna stand her ground and meet face to face with Dany and get executed via sword. Cersei was going to run and fight and pick her and kill herself before anything like that
I almost expected her to leap off like Tommen did when Qyburn...
When they were walking in there and Jaime was looking at the path and Cersei was standing there kind of wigging out, I half expected Tyrion to come around the corner and be like, you did this to Cersei, like, and try to kill her, and then Jaime has to kill him, or they all die together.
Crazy shit there.
But... I really like that it was just them in the end. Jaime obviously took a couple steps back on his arc, but he was never perfect. He was...
and that's... I know a lot of people are very upset with what he did to Brienne. I am one of them. I'm not thrilled. However, I think that this is actually one of the truest to form following Martin's style of writing
that, yes, he made all this progress. Yes, he had this great turnaround arc.
But when faced with Cersei's impending death,
there's some things that just, you know, you can't help but not redeem it. And so it sucks to see, because, like, who doesn't love Jaime Lannister? Like, he was so great. He's
and
awesome...
we no longer have Cersei Lannister on the show.
Right.
Like, we just lost Jaime and Cersei Lannister.
And so a big slap in the face almost, as a, you know, we were all sitting here, you know, how excited. Well, granted, I was excited for Cersei to be the big bad.
Yeah.
Dany's the big bad.
Yeah.
And, like, not that it was completely blindsiding us, because, you know, a lot of people were calling the Mad Queen.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But, like, God, it's cool. Fuck, that's cool.
Yeah, no,
man.
it was definitely neat, and like the way they just, I felt for Cersei Lannister one last time in this show, and that's what I've always liked about her character is, no matter how disgusting she gets, there's always that moment where you're like, ah, oh, damn,
you could
Cersei,
see, just the way that,
and that last moment of not like this, down
that's
here.
it. Well, just those words, the actress just really portrayed that fear, that's terror.
It. Jaime, Cersei Lannister are now gone, collapsed underneath the Red Keep.
And then, so then it's on Arya waking up.
And then it's on Arya waking up. And we only see the left half of her face.
You called it during
and I was terrified because I thought that fire looked really intense as it went over her when it cut away. Yeah. So I was convinced that half her face was burned like the Hound. Yeah. And it was going to be this immediate,
transformation.
Yeah. No, luckily it wasn't.
And she sees the dead girls burn.
Yeah, she sees the mother and the little girl. I hit the table. The mother and her little girl just fucking mummified from how harshly they were burned.
Which is it reminds me of like the Pompeii pictures for the volcano that burned them so fast that they just...
And you can just, like, Maisie Williams, goddamn, my girl is killing it this season. Just the anger. She cries. She has a tear from this.
Well, that's it.
And it's all, and I really think that, you know, it is this girl and the mother, but it's the senseless destruction. They literally just fought an army of the undead, and now they came down here, and Dany just massacred all of these innocent people, like most of which were women and children, like people who had no stake in the battle. Tyrion was 100% right, like, and Dany went full on Mad Queen, and Arya was fucking irate, and then we get this. She's walking through, and I mean, just the imagery is just intense in this episode of Arya standing in King's Landing as it's burning around her and the ashes raining down. And I believe it's Harry Strickland's horse.
That makes sense.
Because they showed him on...
So I didn't really look at the braids that were on the hair of Harry Strickland's horse, but I noticed that this one had some blonde braids in its mane and shit.
But there's a beautiful pure white horse standing in the middle of all this carnage, and Arya's immediately goes up to it, and I remember as it was happening, I was sitting there like, is this actually happening during a Game of Thrones episode? Like, after what we just witnessed, this dragon, like, are we watching Arya Stark walk up to a horse, like, with King's Landing burning around it? Like, it just seems so out of place. But, I think it was one of the best scenes this season. There was just something magical about it.
And now you mentioned off air, the mic here, that it immediately popped into your head the term Pale Mare.
The Pale Mare.
Yeah.
To me, it just seemed like Arya embodying, not that, because I know the Pale Mare is a disease in the books, but to me it seemed like the Pale Mare of one of the horsemen, like the horsemen of death, like in the middle of all this death, and Arya being such a harbinger of death herself, she chose to walk away from, like, she didn't want what happened.
So do you think that her jumping on that horse is she's done, she's leaving, she's good, she's gone for good, or do you think she's taking it to go to try and kill her?
Well, we did see the next week's sneak peek, and she is standing in the army of the Unsullied, looking pissed, and I would guess at Dany. I think this is straight up, she blames Dany, and I think Jon does too. Jon has been pretty shook on this, and we just, that's the last shot of the episode, is Arya just riding away in King's Landing, burning on this pale white horse, and holy fucking shit, it happened. King's Landing is burned to the ground.
King's Landing's done, yo.
And it was Daenerys who did it herself, after the advising and warning of absolutely everybody.
Well, that's it. Just at the beginning of the episode, Varys' words, I hope you're correct in burning. I hope I deserve this.
Yeah, I hope you're right in burning me, and I should have been trusting her.
He was right.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, after all the all the shit and how lame his story got towards the last few seasons, like, he's still one of the smartest motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know?
Man, it all came to a head here, and I know a lot of people are, I'm sure, disappointed in it, but
fuck 'em.
That was,
So,
that was...
Varys, Euron, Jaime, Cersei. Is that it? Is it just the 4 there?
The Hound,
the Mountain, Qyburn. Jesus. I would say Harry Strickland, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who cares? He's weird looking anyway.
Yeah, man. What a fucking just tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
And not a big surprise to anybody, but I think it was so fucking well done.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
I'm thrilled with the episode. I enjoyed it. I think it was... Like I said, there were some things that, and they're not even complaints. It was well done, because the way that they would draw out the montages of getting everyone to escape, of all that shit, you know, it just drew in the tension where it's like, all right, I don't want to see these people running. I want to see I want to see what's gonna happen.
That's it. I just want to see more. Like, I'm gonna go back and just look at more shots of King's Landing burning.
Well, yeah, I mean that imagery
intense.
of Arya in the smoke with, you know, looking
at
there's
the horse. One point where there's like an archway behind her,
and
the light's coming through, and everything's just burning around her. And I said it while we were watching it. I was like, that's a fucking image right there. Like, it was just... And the makeup was so well done. Arya looked so rough. Like, poor Arya kept getting fucked by, like, debris. Like, there was, like, 3 different times.
Like, Dany kept blasting. Like, I'd be fucking pissed, too, if I was Arya. Like, you almost killed me, like, 13 times.
And Jon. I was worried about Jon and Davos down there on the ground. All of her soldiers, I was worried about.
We only saw her face in her throne room while she was riding her dragon. A few times we saw Dany this episode. But Jesus Christ, Emilia Clarke's fucking face throughout was just awesome.
Like, she looked intense.
What I really liked during the Varys trial thing there was the way that she was just, Dracarys. It was so nonchalant and like, I told you.
That was insane, the way Drogon materialized above
that
her.
was cool as fuck,
out of darkness.
Yeah.
I really liked that we got to see Varys interacting with the little bird for the first time.
Yeah,
like,
and how...
as soon as it opened with that, I was like, okay, so he's dying this episode.
And his,
but it was just
his little, what have I taught you? The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
Yeah.
And he was going for it.
Yeah.
So, now that the battle's done, and Dany's clearly got King's Landing, Varys had, when he was meeting with her before he got arrested, he had about 6 or 7 little notes there that he had written. I'm imagining all containing the same information, that who Jon is, that were likely sent to all the high houses left in Westeros. Yeah, Dany just took the throne, but everybody knows she doesn't have the right claim anymore.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What do you expect?
Well, I think Dany just made so many fucking enemies right there with burning King's Landing.
What I'm not getting is that Jon is on her side, but all of her trusted advisors that would have assisted her throughout this part are gone. Mm-hmm. She just broke any trust she had with Tyrion. Yeah, and Jon. The only people, Varys, Jorah, Missandei, they're all the ones that would have been able to assist. Grey Worm is the only one who's going to
stand beside her now.
And all he's going to do is listen to every fucking word she says.
Well, he's going to, like I said, he's going to rat on Jon about calling the men back.
And so all the other ones were the ones that could have helped her maintain control. If she stays in power and Jon dies, if Jon doesn't take control, Sansa, there's no breaking the wheel. She won't.
Yeah, no.
She's gonna have to maintain this control with fear, and you can't break the wheel.
I did not expect this to be the last episode of Dany sort of coming into the throne as the Mad Queen, with so much between Arya, Jon, Davos, Tyrion, just the way they're feeling toward her now, the savagery of the sack of King's Landing this time around was just insane. It was a flick of a switch, and it was like all of her soldiers, even the Unsullied, just became the most ruthless Dothraki that have ever fucking been known to man, and her herself just torching entire sections.
See, it caught me by, like, she had sat there long enough that I thought that she was okay with the bells, and so that's why I was convinced.
As soon as she started, like, crying, like, and you heard her, like, and taking in, I was like, yeah, no, we're fucked, like, because at first when she took off and she was flying over the city, I was like, oh, she's just gonna go and burn the Red Keep. I thought she was gonna keep the city, burn the Red Keep.
I
to
thought
the ground.
so as well.
And then all of a
She
sudden we
just
get the
turned on the
shot
ground.
of it's just the fucking city way and people are dying and it's awful. Yeah, so next episode, it's the very, very last episode ever of Game of Thrones, and it is Daenerys starring as the Mad Queen, taking her throne.
Who's your inductee for last episode?
Sandor Clegane.
Sandor.
Thank you.
That's cool.
Because he killed his brother.
He did it.
Embodied what it was to be a knight.
And he did it by pressing his fucking face into the flames. He put him into that giant fucking pit of fire at the bottom.
Yeah,
Fuck you,
he
Mountain.
charged
You learned
willingly
what it's like to
into
burn.
the fire, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
So, I'm going to miss him because he's amazing.
Holy fuck.
The Hound. All day, every day.
That's wild. Absolutely wild.
Wildfire.
A lot of wildfire.
You're on Greyjoy for you?
Well, duh. No, I was considering giving it to Jamie for killing Euron, because fuck Euron. But honestly, I think I'm going to give it to Jon. I was going to give it to Jon for doing some cool shit, but like, you dumbass. Like, you're such a dumbass, Jon. But I guess we were all fooled by Dany. So I'm going to give it to Jon for protecting that girl and realizing that what the fucking Unsullied are doing is wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the way you should be handling some shit.
Yeah, Jon's got some decisions to make. But luckily he's got Arya down there with him. And Davos and Tyrion.
Without Arya, he'd be fucked. Because he's just, I still feel he's as naive as Ned was down there. He wants to go down and play the fucking honorable... I'll walk away because I follow the rules. And
yeah, but now, like, that sort of way of thinking has been taking over, which is why Varys was fighting for him. So I think between Tyrion, Davos, and Arya fighting for Jon, that Dany's in a lot more trouble than she thinks, because she just sort of went back on everything they were trying to achieve of not ruling over a city of ashes, and that's just what she turned it into.
She has the whole fucking city.
Not only did we get Bran's vision of the dragon shadow over the city, but
the Red Keep,
where we're also going to get the Red Keep with the ash of just being completely destroyed and covered in ash because Dany went ham. And like, I'm not saying that she didn't have a right to that. Losing Jorah, Missandei, all her Unsullied, her dragon isn't a reason to, but it just, the bells rang, man. They gave up. Like,
well, that's it. Like,
all of these innocents called for surrender, and you could hear them. Cersei could hear them in the Red Keep.
Yeah, and so it was just for vengeance.
It was just vengeance.
Was it worth it?
Burn them all.
Definitely not.
No.
Like, not if you.
Well,
want to
we'll
power.
See if at the end of the last episode next Sunday, she is sitting on the Iron Throne.
I definitely think it's worthy of that penultimate label.
Yeah,
it was definitely one of the highlights of the season. Not that I haven't enjoyed all of them.
Called the Bells, I think that's an apt name because earlier in the series, Varys says that he hates the bells because the bells ring for horror. A city under siege, a wedding,
that's what he did.
A dead king. So the bells signal horror, and this time they did as well, because as soon as they started ringing, Dany started unleashing hell.
Goddamn.
So, Varys, R.I.P. Jaime, Cersei, R.I.P.
Sandor the Hound.
Sandor, Clegane, R.I.P. The Mountain. I mean, I don't know what you can even do if you even can rest in peace, but sure, bro, try it.
Qyburn.
Well, like, you're creepy.
Hey, you did your thing.
And so, those were our thoughts. Let us know yours. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent.
Yeah, otherwise we will be seeing you probably for a fairly short episode next week, after the season finale, just because the following week or week after that even, we're going to be doing a nice long episode that's just going to be
wrapping up the
whole show, just an in-depth chat. So, if you've got thoughts to include about that, get ready. Get ready.
Please let us know your thoughts on the series as a whole for that one. We will still be having an episode based on the finale in itself, but for our bigger whole show wrap-up episode, write in your thoughts about, your favorite season and why, or...
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. We're planning some fun little things for that, we think. So,
get us your inductees for this episode. We'll read
And
them out.
hit us up on the usual socials. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/.
Brotherhood Podcast.
Yeah, that one.
So facebook.com/Brotherhood Podcast. We did get an inductee for a couple episodes ago, but we were so in shock. I believe it was at Valerian the Ice Dragon, something like that. And he just had given it to, who is it, Arya?
Arya, I believe.
That episode. But yeah, so Twitter is at Manners Without. We love to hear from you guys there as well. We have the Gmail Without Manners Brotherhood at gmail.com. We're on all the podcast outlets, Spotify, Stitcher, Breaker, Spreaker, iTunes. Leave us a like, subscribe, give us a review, all that cool stuff. But again, just write to us, guys. Let us know what you're thinking. What are you feeling now?
We got one episode left, folks. And this journey known as Game of Thrones is over as far as the show. So let's enjoy it. Take it for what it is, I guess. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Fella to Harris.
Peace.